So while our latkes are finishing, we're going to make a really quick salad, and I do mean really quick because this has 5 ingredients plus a dressing. And you can go to the effort of making your own vinaigrette if you like, or if you have the ingredients you want to use. If not, a bottled or prepared vinaigrette is perfectly acceptable here. We're going to start with just 1 head of green leaf lettuce. This has already been washed pretty thoroughly, so we're going to cut off the butt end of that. I like to prep lettuce by cutting just a few times lengthwise, just to make sure you don't get any huge pieces, and then gathering it up, just doing a nice rough chop. Any lettuce would be good here. You could use red leaf lettuce, you can use romaine, anything you have is great. Very good. We're going to take 2 apples. Again, we're going to leave the skins on because they're nice and tender this time of year, and they have a little bit of extra crunch, and they have a very high percentage of the vitamins and nutrients that are in an apple are in the peel itself. So whenever possible, serve it with the peel on. I'm just going to go through and slice these up thinly. You could absolutely dice them. You could cut them into matchsticks if you wanted to. This is just kind of a quick, simple, easy way to do this. So I'm going to slice this like so, probably about 8 or 10 slices per quarter. I think this is a good size for these. I also tend to prefer sliced over diced fruit if it's going to be in a green salad, because you get that effect of all of the small things falling to the bottom of the bowl, so you end up with a big pile of all the good stuff at the end if they're chopped too finely. So I think this is a good kind of middle ground. You get plenty of pieces so that everybody gets some apple in their salad, but it's not so small that they wander to the bottom of the bowl and get lost. And you know, if you have a real aversion to apple peels, or if you're using canned or prepared apples, it's totally fine. Peel is not necessary, it's just not necessary to remove either. So we're gonna go ahead and sweep all of our apples into the bowl. I'm gonna take about half a cup, a generous half cup of walnuts. Give those a rough chop. If you have time to toast these in your oven for a few minutes beforehand, all the better, but they'll be delicious either way. If you are going to toast nuts in the oven, I recommend not doing it at the temperature that we have our oven set at. It should be at a low temperature, because what gives nuts their characteristic flavors are the oils in them, and oils burn really quickly, especially at high temperatures. So if you're going to toast these, you can either do it in a small pan for a few minutes over the stove top, or you can put it in a low oven, like 250 degrees for 5 or 10 minutes until they start to smell toasty. And sweep our walnuts right in here. We're going to use about a cup of dried cranberries. Again, if you have raisins, if you have apricots, papaya, anything like that, just chop them up until they're roughly the size like this. And you can use really any dried fruit that you choose or you have available. We're going to take I'd like to have about half a cup of chopped green onion here, so I'm going to start with about 3 of these green onions. I always start by cutting them in half here, just so I can cut the number of slices that I have to make in half, like so. These have also been washed thoroughly beforehand, and we're just going to go through and roughly chop these up. You can include the dark green, the light green, and the white part in here. It's all going to add basically the same flavor. So this is essentially kind of like a Waldorf salad, if you're familiar with that, but without that really heavy mayonnaise dressing. We're getting a little bit of onion, we're getting a couple kinds of fruit, we're getting crunch from some walnuts, so not entirely dissimilar from that. And that is, barring the actual dressing that we're going to add, the whole salad. So you can prep it up to this point. I would probably, if you're going to prep it early, I would put the lettuce on top instead of under everything, so that it stays a little bit fresher. Maybe add a tablespoon of lemon juice or lime juice. Bottle is fine, just to keep everything bright so it doesn't turn brown. You could prep this the day ahead. And we're just going to add essentially enough dressing to coat. As I said, this is a prepared dressing. Looking at somewhere around half a cup to a cup, probably on the smaller side there. We're going to add approximately half a cup of dressing. We'll give it a toss and see how it looks. If we need to add a little bit more just to make everything thoroughly coated, we'll do that. That's already looking and smelling fantastic. Not that any of these recipes are simple, but this is certainly the simplest and easiest. This whole thing came together in about 4 minutes, so this is a great one to add to your repertoire. And there we go. This is our apple cranberry salad. Absolutely add some goat cheese or feta cheese to this to add a little bit of protein, a little bit of succulence and satiety. That would pretty much turn this into potentially a full meal if you wanted it to. You've got protein from your nuts, lots of vegetables and fruits in there, so really full, complete meal potentially there. There you have it. If it can get any easier, I'm not sure how.